Hey guys, Pharaoh Knight here, bringing you Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Now, I'm a big fan of the Mountain Blade series, Warband being my personal favorite. I can't imagine how many hours I've actually put into that game, just running around and conquering. So, when I saw that Mountain Blade Bannerlord had released, I knew I had to jump in and give it a go. Now, I have not played a single second of this game. I opened it once to set some options and then I had to reset it. I also did a quick audio check to make sure it wasn't too bad on the recording. So we are just going to jump straight into the campaign and see what the first couple minutes of this game is like. I am super excited to see how this all turns out. Now I should preface, this is the early access build, so there may be some glitches and problems. But overall, it should be pretty good. So what do we got here? We got new races. So we've got the Vlandians. Lived under the Empire for centuries. Warlike nobles who prefer to fight with spears, lances on horseback. So if you are them, you get 20% more upgrade XP to 2 troops from battles. That sounds really good, because we will be fighting a lot. What are these? The Sturgeons. Sturgeons are the descendants of the foreign tribes of northern Calradia. As the Empire expanded to go forest, they found that a steady, ready market for the luxurious furs of woodland animals who they traditionally hunted and trapped. Sturgeon chieftains became their princes, vying for preeminence with the help of Nord mercenaries who migrated into the realm. They're good hunters and wanderers, traveling far in search of opportunities both for trade and for plunder. 20% less speed penalty from snow. I don't feel like that's going to be that powerful, but then again, I've never seen the map, but I feel like that's only going to be really useful in some scenarios. But we'll have to see. So the Empire here, the Empire is in decline, even before the murder of Emperor Arenacos. Sure, we're going with it. The once united realm was torn by political rivalries. Today, these fractions are at open war. Yet, Calradians endure. They are technically more advanced than their neighbors, and their mastery of engineering is most evident in their aqueducts, beautiful architecture, and massive city walls. It also makes them experts in siege warfare. Okay, that could be really good. 20% construction speed to town projects and siege weapons. So that could be really good. The Aseri are inhabitants of the Nahasa Desert, a mixture of nomadic Bedouin and settled oasis farmers. I probably butchered that. They are famous for their horsemanship and their knowledge of the learning of many lands, especially medicine gained from lying on some of the continent's most lucrative trade routes. Each clan is fiercely proud of its lineage and often jealous of the others, but when united by a charismatic leader, they become a major force in the south. Caravans are 30% cheaper to build and 10% less trade penalty. So this is interesting. So it sounds like we can actually set up trade caravans. We've got the Khuzaits. The Khuzait confederation of steppe tribes used to live a nomadic life, but have recently settled in the eastern frontier of the empire and are slowly transitioning into an agrarian society with permanent town centers. Despite this, they still remain many aspects of their nomadic life, including their affinity with horses. They are masters of mounted archery, shooting, and then galloping out of reach. Oh, this sounds familiar. And if you know who I'm talking about, they also start with the K. Ugh, man, I hated dealing with them. Anyways, and we finally have the Battalions. Oh, that was hard to say. The Battalions remember the olden days when the woods stretched across northern Calradia and the Empire and its cities had yet to violate their sanctity. The fierce warriors remain loyal to their traditional ways. They paint their faces, then going to battle, and even their noblemen prefer to fight on foot while using great axes and two-handed swords with deadly efficiency. Forests give 10% less penalty to parties. Okay, so these, I'm feeling like this, if they had shields, they'd be the Nords. So who do we want to go? I feel like the Vlandians, their skill seems to be very powerful. The Sturgians, not so much. Good hunters. It really doesn't tell you what they specialize in. I don't like, before the Nords were your amazing foot soldiers with the Huskar shields, just absolutely decimating, and the Swadians with their mountain knights were insane in open combat. But I feel like we need to go with the Battalions because they sound like the Scots. And I feel like that's right up our alley. So we are going to jump in as the Battalions. And here's the face. Oh, that brings back memories too. What do we got here?
Infantry! Close with them, bastards!
Oh, perfect.
Close with them!
We've got our Scotsman right here. So we're going to keep things. I'm not going to spend too much time in here, but we can randomize, randomize all, reset, reset all, undo, change clothing. Ooh, okay, there we go. Ooh, the arrow seemed to be a little bit in his elbow, but that's okay. There's our English Scots. Choose your family. What is going on here? You born into a family of, what are we? Smiths. Okay, so here are my choices, and they're going to dictate this. So we should probably see what we got here. So vigor represents the ability to move with speed and force. It's important for melee. Okay, that's good to know. And we have two-handed, one-handed, and polearm. Okay, that makes sense. It's like the old Warband. So control, ability to use strength without sacrificing precision. So that's our ranged endurance. Perform taxing physical activity for a long time, so that might be good when we're actually in combat, and if we've got a stamina. Cunning is the ability to predict what other people will do and outwit their plans. So what do we got here? We got scouting, scanning, tactics, and roguery. You can tell when a guard wants a bribe. Okay, this is interesting. Because before you really couldn't. Like, these were good, especially tactics. They were really good for getting a started advantage in the original game. But this might be interesting. I'm curious to see the whole town mechanics. So that'll be interesting to see. So we've got social, understanding people's motivation to sway them. That makes sense. So the charm, you can make a good guess at people's motivations. Leadership, you can feel individuals. So this was also really important because this allowed you to have better troops and to pay them less. And trade with the most common goods and marketplace and the prices. Okay, so it looks like there is a lot of trade with trade caravans and so on with the guards. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And we have intelligence. Intelligence represents the aptitude for reading and theoretical learning. Theoretical. Blech. Stuart, your knowledge of what makes a settlement prosper. Okay, so it looks like we might be managing towns. That'll be interesting to see. Medicine, how to staunch bleeding, very important. Though usually, if they still have companions, this is really good. And engineering, how to make things withstand powerful forces, useful for building other structures and devices to knock them down. So that's our siege as well. So we are going to see, what do we got here? So member of a chieftain's Hearthguard gives us a good with bow, two-handed, and that's about it. Healers gives us charm and medicine. Tribespeople gives us throwing and athletics. Smiths gives us two-handed and smithing. Foresters gives us tactics and scouting. And bards give us roguery and charm. Okay. I think what we're going to do is we are going to go for... let's see, what do we want here? This sounds like it could be really good. I do like using the bow, especially with sieges. You can stay at the back. So I think I'm going to go with the Chieftain's Hearthguard. Choose your early childhood. Oh, yes, here we go again. So your leadership skills. So that gives us tactics and leadership. That is really good. Brawn gives us more vigor with two-handed and throwing. Now, throwing I personally don't care for, so we'll have to see about that one. He is happy. Look how happy this kid is. Can I move him around? No, can't. Attention to detail. So that improves my control. And one-handed and athletics. So that could be really good as well. Your aptitude for numbers. So trade and engineering. That could be good. Your way with people. Social. Leadership and charm. Skill with horses. Riding. And medicine. I think we're gonna go with leadership skills because tactics and leadership are very good. At least if they're the same as what they were in the last game, Warband, they're amazing skills to have. Adolescence, wow, maybe it's just me, but my body looks a lot bigger than everything else. Let's see, we got herded the sheep, so this gives us throwing and athletics. Worked in the village smithy, so this gives us two-handed. This gives us smithing and more vigor. Okay, repaired projects. So that's smithing and engineering. Gathered herbs in the wild. That's scouting and medicine. Hunted small game. That's our bow and tactics. And sold produce is our trade and charm. I think. What do we want here? I think we're gonna go worked in the village smithy. It goes with our early setup. No, actually, it's not. We changed that. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with the worked in the village smithy and choose your youth. Man, the health just doesn't seem proportional, but whatever. We're a chieftain servant, so this gives us tactics and steward. Trained Hearthguard, which is a polearm and riding. We're going to have stood guard with the garrisons. That's our bow and engineering. Rode with scouts, which is bow and riding. That makes sense. Actually, I'm surprised that that doesn't do anything for scouting. Trained with the infantry, which is one-handed and polearm. I think we're going for a two-handed build here. Join the skirmishers. Again, I'm not a fan of throwing personally, but I know a lot of people are. And join the kern, which is one-handed and again throwing. So that's not for us. Tactics and stewardship, I like that one. I think that might be the one we go with here as well. Yeah, I'm gonna say that we're a chieftain steward. Get some more tactics and a little bit better steward. Choose. Oh wow, it's still going. Okay. Before you set up for life, your biggest achievement was to defeat an enemy in battle. So that's vigor and two-handed, and our one-handed. We let a successful manhunt, which is tactics and leadership. That is really good. I'd probably end up going for that. You invested some money in land, which is smithing and trade. You hunted dangerous, so that's both of our bows. Famous escapade in town. Maybe it was a lot. I'm not reading these, but you're more than welcome to pause and read them as I've gone through them. Athletics and roguery. That's okay. You treated people well. Charm and stewardship. I think we're gonna go with successful manhunt. That seems good. Like many families in Calgary, your life was upended by war. Your home was ravaged by the passage of army after army. Eventually, you sold your property and set off with your father, mother, brother, and your two younger siblings to a new town you heard was safer, but you did not make it. Along the way, the inn at which you were staying was attacked by raiders. Your parents were slain, and your two youngest siblings seized. But you and your brother survived because I subdued a raider. So that's our one-handed and athletics. You drove them off with arrows. That's the bow and tactics. That could be good. You rode off on a fast horse. That's our riding and scouting. You tricked the raiders. That's our cunning, or our tactics and roguery. You organized the travelers to break out, which is our leadership and our charm. I like this, but I also like this. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with I organized some travelers to break out to get a little bit of charm, because that could be useful. Or yawn. Okay. You prepare to set off with your brother on a mission of vengeance and rescue. Here is your character. Click finish if you're ready, or go back to make changes. Cultures. So we're a Battalion. We're a Chieftain's Hearthguard. We did an early childhood with our leadership. Adolescence, we worked in the village smithy. We were chieftain servants, I led a successful manhunt, and we organized a breakout. It's all really good, and of course, our name will be Feral. Oop. And we're gonna jump right in. Oh, okay, one more here. Difficulty. Well, we're not very good. We haven't played this game, so I think we're just gonna keep everything standard here. Just try to